I thought the king had more affected the Duke of Albany than Cornwall.
It did always seem so to us, but now, in the division of the kingdom, it appears not which of the dukes he values most.
Is not this your son, my lord?
His breeding, sir, hath been at my charge. I have so often blushed to acknowledge him that now I am brazed to it.
I cannot conceive you.
Ah, sir, this young fellow's mother could, whereupon she grew round-wombed, and had indeed, sir, a son for her cradle, as she had a husband for her bed. Do you smell a fault?
I cannot wish the fault undone, the issue of it being so proper.
But I have a son, sir, by order of law, some year elder than this, who is yet no dearer in my account. Though this knave came something saucily to the world before he was sent for, yet was his mother fair, and the whoreson must be acknowledged. Do you know this noble gentleman, Edmund?
No, my lord.
My lord of Kent. Remember him hereafter as my honorable friend.
My services to your lordship.
I must love you and sue to know you better.
Sir, I shall study deserving.
He hath been out 9 years, and away he shall again. Ah, the king is coming.
Attend the lords of France and Burgundy, Gloucester.
I shall, my lord.
Meantime, we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map there. Know that we have divided in three our kingdom. 'Tis our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, conferring them on younger strengths, while we, unburdened, crawl toward death. Our son of Cornwall, and you, our no less loving son of Albany, we have this hour a constant will to publish our daughter's several dowers, that future strife may be prevented now. The two great princes, France and Burgundy, great rivals in our youngest daughter's love, here in our court have made their amorous sojourn, and here are to be answered. Tell me, my daughters, which of you shall we say doth love us most? That we with largest bounty may extend, where nature doth with merit challenge. Goneril, our eldest born, speak first.
Sir, I do love you more than word can wield the matter. Dearer than eyesight, space, or liberty. Beyond what can be valued, rich or rare. No less than life, with grace, health, beauty, honor. As much as child e'er loved, or father found. A love that makes breath poor, and speech unable. Beyond all manner of so much, I love you.
What shall Cordelia speak? Love, and be silent.
Of all these bounds, even from this line to this, with shadowy forest and champagnes rich, plenteous rivers, wide-skirted meads, we make thee lady. To thine and Albany's issues be this perpetual. What says our second daughter, our dearest Regan, wife of Cornwall? Speak.
Sir, I am made of that self-metal as my sister, and prize me at her worth. In my true heart I find she names my very deed of love, only she comes too short. that I profess myself an enemy to all other joys, and find I am alone felicitate in thy dear highness's love.
Then poor Cordelia, and yet not so, since I am sure my love is more ponderous than my tongue.
To thee and thine hereditary ever remain this ample third of our fair kingdom, no less in space, validity, and pleasure as that conferred on Goneril. But now, our joy, although our last and least, to whom the vines of France and milk of Burgundy strive to be interest. What can you say to draw a third more opulent than your sisters? Speak.
Nothing, my lord.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing will come of nothing. Speak again.
Unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty according to my bond, no more nor less.
How, Cordelia, mend your speech a little, lest you may mar your fortunes.
Good, my lord, you have begot me, bred me, loved me. I return those duties back as are right fit. Obey you, love you, and most honor you. Why have my sisters husbands if they say they love you all? Happily, when I shall wed, that Lord whose hand must take my plight shall carry half my love with him, half my care and duty. Sure, I shall never marry like my sisters to love my father all.
But goes thy heart with this?
Aye, my good lord.
So young and so untender.
So young, my lord, and true.
Let it be so, thy truth then be thy dower. For by the sacred radiance of the sun, the mysteries of Hecate and the night, by all the operations of the orbs from whom we do exist and cease to be, here I disclaim all my paternal care, propinquity and property of blood, and as a stranger to my heart and me, hold thee from this forever. The barbarous Scythian be as well neighbored, pitied, and relieved as thou, my sometime daughter.
Good, my liege.
Peace, Kent. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. I loved her most. Thought to set my rest on her kind nursery. Hence and avoid my sight. So be my grave my peace, as here I give my father's heart from her. Call France. Who stirs? Call Burgundy. Cornwall, Albany. With my 2 daughters' dowers digest this third. Let pride, which she calls plainness, marry her. I do invest you jointly with my power, preeminence, in all the large effects that troop with majesty. Ourself by monthly course, with reservation of 100 nights, by you to be sustained, shall we our abode make by due turn. Only we shall retain the name, and all the addition to a king. Your sway, revenue, execution of the rest, beloved sons, be yours, which to confirm this cornet part between you.
Royal Lear, whom I have ever honored as my king, loved as my father, as my master followed, as my great patron thought on in my prayers.
The bow is bent and drawn. Make from the shaft.
Let it fall, rather, though the fork invade the region of my heart. Be Kent unmannerly when Lear is mad. What wouldst thou do, old man? Think'st thou that duty shall have dread to speak, when power to flattery bows? Thy youngest daughter does not love thee least.
Kent, on thy life, no more.
I never held my life, but as a pawn to wage against thine enemies.
Out of my sight.
See better, Lear, and let me still remain the true blank of thine eye.
Now by Apollo,
Now by Apollo, king, thou swear'st thy gods in vain.
Oh, vassal, miscreant!
Yes, sir, forbear! Do! Kill thy physician, and thy fee bestow upon the foul disease. I tell thee, thou dost evil.
Hear me, recreant. on thine allegiance. Hear me! That thou hast sought to make me break my vow, which I durst never yet. Take thy reward. 5 days we do allot thee for provision to shield thee from disasters of the world, and on the 6th to turn thy hated back upon our kingdom. If on the 10th day following thy banished trunk be found in our dominion, that moment is thy death. Away! By Jupiter, this shall not be revoked.
Fare thee well, king. Sith thus thou wilt appear, freedom lives hence. Banishment is here. The gods to their dear shelter take thee, maid, that justly thinkst and hast most rightly said. And your large speeches may your deeds approve, that good effects may spring from words of love. Thus, Kent, O princes, bid you all adieu. He'll shape his old course in a country new.
Here's France and Burgundy, my noble lord.
My lord of Burgundy, we first address toward you, who with this king hath rivaled for our daughter. What in the least will you require in present dower with her, or cease your quest of love?
Most royal sir, I crave no more than hath your highness offered, nor will you tender less.
Right noble Burgundy, when we did hold her dear, then she was dear to us, but now her price is fallen. So there she stands. If aught within that little seeming substance, or all of it with our displeasure pieced, and nothing more, may fitly like your grace, she's there and she's yours.
I know no answer.
Will you, with those infirmities she owns, unfriended, new adopted to our hate, dowered with our curse, strangered with our oath, take her or leave her?
Royal sir, election makes not up on such conditions.
Then leave her, sir. For you, great king, I would not from your love make such a stray to match you where I hate. Therefore beseech you to virtue liking a more worthier way than on a wretch whom nature is ashamed almost to acknowledge hers.
This is most strange, that she whom even but now is your best object, the argument of your praise, balm of your age, the best, the dearest, should, in this trice of time, commit a thing so monstrous to dismantle so many folds of favor.
I yet beseech your majesty, if for I want that glib and oily art to speak, and purpose not, since what I well intend, I'll do it before I speak, that you make known it is no vicious blot, murder, foulness, no unchaste action or dishonored step that hath deprived me of your grace and favor. But even for want of that for which I am richer, a still soliciting eye, and such a tongue that I'm glad I have not, though not to have it hath lost me in your liking.
Go to. Better thou hadst not been born than not to have pleased me better.
Is it no more but this? My lord of Burgundy, what say you to the lady? She is herself a dowry.
Royal sir, give but that portion which yourself proposed, and here I take Cordelia by the hand.
Nothing. I've sworn. I'm firm.
I am sorry you have so lost a father that you must lose a husband.
Peace be with Burgundy, since that which respects of fortune or his love, I shall not be his wife.
Fairest Cordelia, that art most rich being poor, most choice forsaken, most love despised, thee and thy virtues here I seize upon. Thy dowerless daughter, king, throned to my chance, is queen of us, of ours, of our fair France. Bid them farewell, Cordelia, though unkind, thou losest here a better where to find.
Thou hast her, friends. She is thine, for we have no such daughter, nor shall ever see that face of hers again. Therefore be gone, without our grace, our love, our benison. Come, noble Burgundy.
Bid farewell to your sisters.
The jewels of our father. With washed eyes, Cordelia leaves you. I know you what you are, and like a sister am most loath to call your faults as they are named. Love well our father. To your professed bosoms I commit him. So farewell to you both.
Prescribe not us our duty.
Let your study be to content your lord, who hath received you at fortune's alms. You have obedience scanted, and well are worth the want that you have wanted.
Come, fair Cordelia.
Sister, I think our father will hence tonight.
That's most certain, and with you. Next month with us.
You see how full of changes his age is. The observation we have made of it hath not been little. He always loved our sister most, and with what poor judgment he hath now cast her off appears too grossly.
'Tis the infirmity of his age. Yet he hath ever but slenderly known himself.
The best and soundest of his time hath been but rash. Then must we look from his age to receive not alone the imperfections of long engraft condition, but therewithal the unruly waywardness that infirm and choleric years bring with them.
Such unconstant starts are we like to have from him as this of Kent's banishment.
There is further compliment of leave-taking between France and him. Pray you, let us hit together. If our father carry authority with such disposition as he bears, this last surrender of his will but offend us.
We shall further think of it.
We must do something, and in the heat.
Nature art my goddess. To thy law my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom, and permit the curiosity of nations to deprive me? For that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother? Why bastard? Wherefore base? When my dimensions are as well compact, my mind is generous, and my shape as true as honest madam's issue. Why brand they us with base, with baseness, bastardy, base, who in lusty stealth of nature take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a dull, stale, tired bed go to the creating a whole tribe of fops? Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have your lands. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund as to the legitimate. Fine word. Legitimate. Well, my legitimate, if this letter speed and my invention thrive, Edmund the base shall top the legitimate. I grow, I prosper. Now, gods, stand up for bastards.
Kent banished thus, and France and choler parted, and the king, gone tonight, prescribed his power. How now, Edmund? What news?
So please your lordship, none.
Why so earnestly seek you to put up that letter?
I know no news, my lord.
What paper were you reading?
Nothing, my lord.
No. What needed then that terrible dispatch of it into your pocket? The quality of nothing hath not such need to hide itself. Come, let's see. If it be nothing, I shall not need spectacles.
I beseech you, sir, pardon me. It is a letter from my brother that I have not all o'erread. And for as much as I have perused of it, I find it not fit for your o'erlooking.
Give me the letter, sir.
I shall offend either to give or detain it. The contents, as in part I understand them, are to blame.
Let's see. Let's see.
I hope for my brother's justification he wrote this but as an essay or taste of my virtue.
This policy and reverence of age makes the world bitter. Come to me that of this I may speak more. If our father would sleep till I waked him, you should enjoy half his revenue forever and live the beloved of your brother, Edgar. Conspiracy? Sleep till I waked him? You should enjoy half his revenue? My son, Edgar? Had he a hand to write this, a heart and brain to breed it in? When came you to this? Who brought it?
It was not brought me, my lord. There's the cunning of it. I found it thrown in at the casement of my closet.
You know the character to be your brother's.
I would fain think it were not.
It is his.
It is his hands, my lord, but I hope his heart is not in the contents.
Has he never before sounded you in this business?
Never, my lord. But I have heard him oft maintain it to be fit that sons at perfect age and fathers decline, the father should be as ward to the son, and the son manage his revenue.
Oh, villain. Villain, his very opinion in the letter. Abhorred villain, unnatural, detested, brutish villain, worse than brutish. Go, Sirrah, seek him. I'll apprehend him. Oh, abominable villain, where is he?
I do not well know, my lord. I dare pawn down my life that he hath writ this to feel my affection to your honor, and to no other pretense of danger.
Think you so?
If your honor judge it meet, I will place you where you shall hear us confer of it, and by an auricular assurance have your satisfaction, and that without any further delay than this very evening.
He cannot be such a monster.
Nor is not sure.
To his father, that so tenderly and entirely loves him, heaven and earth. Edmund, seek him out. Wind me into him, I pray you. Frame the business after your own wisdom.
I will seek him, sir, presently.
These late eclipses of the sun and moon portend no good to us. Love cools, friendship falls off, brothers divide. In cities, mutinies, in countries, discord, in palaces, treason, and the bond cracked twixt son and father. This villain of mine comes under the prediction, there's son against father. The king falls from bias of nature, there's father against child. Oh, we have seen the best of our time. Machinations, hollowness, treachery, and all ruinous disorders follow us disquietly to our graves. Find out this villain Edmund. It shall lose thee nothing. Do it carefully. And the noble and true-hearted Kent banished. His offense, honesty. 'Tis strange, strange.
This is the excellent foppery of the world, that when we are sick in fortune, often the surfeits of our own behavior, we make guilty of our disasters the sun, the moon, and stars, as if we were villains on necessity, fools by heavenly compulsion, thieves, knaves, treacherous, by spherical predominance, drunkards, liars, and adulterers, by an enforced obedience of planetary influence. An admirable evasion of whore-master man to lay his goatish disposition on the charge of a star. My nativity was under Ursa Major, so that it follows I am rough and lecherous. I would be that I am, had the maidenliest star twinkled on my bastardizing. Edgar, and Patty comes, like the catastrophe of the old comedies. My cue is villainous melancholy, with a sigh like Tom of Bedlam. Oh, these eclipses do portend these divisions. Fa, sol, la, mi.
How now, Brother Edmund? What serious contemplation are you in?
I am thinking, brother, of a prediction I read this other day. What should follow these eclipses?
You busy yourself with that?
I promise you, brother, the effects he writes of succeed unhappily, as of unnaturalness between the child and the parent.
How long have you been a sectary astronomical?
Come, when saw you my father last?
The night gone by?
Spake you with him?
Aye, 2 hours together.
Parted you in good terms? Found you no displeasure in him by word nor countenance?
None at all.
Bethink yourself wherein you may have offended him, and at my entreaty forbear his presence until some little time hath qualified the heat of his displeasure, which at this instant so rageth in him.
Some villain hath done me wrong.
That's my fear. Retire with me to my lodging, from whence I will fitly bring you to hear my lord speak. Pray ye go. There's my key. If you do stir abroad, go armed.
Armed, brother.
Brother, I advise you to the best. Go armed. I have told you what I have seen and heard, but faintly nothing like the image and horror of it. Pray you away.
Shall I hear from you anon?
I do serve you in this business. A credulous father, and a brother noble, whose nature is so far from doing harms, he suspects none. I see the business. Let me, if not by birth, have lands by wit. All with me's meet, that I can fashion fit.
Did my father strike my lady for chiding of his fool?
Aye, madam.
Oh, by day and night he wrongs me. Every hour he flashes into one gross crime or other that sets us all at odds. I'll not endure it. His nights grow riotous, and himself upbraids us on every trifle. When he returns from hunting, I will not speak with him. Say I am sick.
Madam, he's coming, I hear him.
Put on what weary negligence you please. If he distaste it, let him to my sister.
Very well, madam.
And let his knights have colder looks among you. What grows of it, no matter. Advise your fellows so. I'll write straight to my sister. Prepare for dinner.
I've seen troubles all my days. I bid farewell to my old kingdom, the place where I was born and raised.
If but as well I other accents borrow that can my speech diffuse, my good intent may carry through itself to that full issue for which I raised my likeness. Now, banished Kent, if thou canst serve where thou dost stand condemned, so may it come thy master whom thou lovest shall find thee full of labors.
Let me not stay a jot for dinner. Go get it ready. Well, now, what art thou?
A man, sir,
What wouldst thou with us?
to serve him truly that will put me in trust, to love him that is honest, to fight when I cannot choose, and to eat no fish.
What art thou?
A very honest-hearted fellow.
What wouldst thou?
Service.
Who wouldst thou serve?
You.
Dost thou know me, fellow?
Nah, but you have that in your countenance, which I would fain call master.
What's that?
Authority.
What services canst thou do?
I can keep honest counsel, ride, run, mar a curious tale in the telling it, and deliver a plain message bluntly.
Follow me. Thou shalt serve me.
All
If
right.
I like thee no worse after dinner, I'll not depart from thee yet. Dinner! Ho! Dinner! Ha, where's my knave, huh? My fool. Go call my fool hither. You fellow, where's my daughter?
So please you.
What says the fellow there? Call the clot pole back. Up. Where's my fool? Huh? I think the world's asleep. Oh, how now? Where's that mongrel?
He says, my lord, your daughter is not well.
Why came not the slave back to me when I called him?
Sir, he answered me in the roundest manner he would not.
He would not.
My lord, I know not what the matter is, but to my judgment, your highness is not to entertain with that ceremonious affection as you were wont.
Thinkst thou so?
I beseech you pardon me, my lord, if I be mistaken, but my duty cannot be silent when I think your highness wronged.
Thou but rememberest me of mine own conception. I have perceived a most faint neglect of late, which I rather blamed on my own jealous curiosity than a very pretense and purpose of unkindness. I will look into it. But where's my fool? I've not seen him this 2 days.
Since my young lady is going into France, my lord, the fool hath much pined away.
No more of that. I've considered it well. Go you, tell my daughter I would speak with her. Go you, call my fool hither. You, sir, you, come hither, sir. Who am I, sir?
My lady's father.
My lady's father. My lord's knave. You dog, you slave, you cur!
I am none of these, my lord. I beseech your pardon.
Do you bandy looks with me, you rascal?
I'll not be strucken, my lord.
Oh!
Nor tripped neither? You base football player?
I thank thee, fellow. Thou servest me and I love
Rise!
thee for it.
Away! I'll teach you differences. Away! Away! Go to!
Now, my friendly knave, I thank thee. There's earnest for thy service.
Let me hire him too. Here's my coxcomb.
Oh! How now, my pretty knave? How dost thou?
Sirrah, you were best take my coxcomb.
Why, fool?
Why? For taking one's part that's out of favor. Here, take my coxcomb. Why, this fellow was banished to his daughters and did the third a blessing against his will. Thou follow him, thou must needs wear my coxcomb. How now, nuncle? Would I had 2 coxcombs and 2 daughters.
Why, my boy?
If I gave them all my living, I'd keep my coxcomb myself. There's mine, beg another of thy daughters.
Take heed, Sirrah, the whip.
Truth's a dog that must to kennel, he must be whipped out.
Pestilent gall to me.
Sirrah, I'll teach thee a speech.
Do.
Mark it, nuncle. Have more than thou showest, speak less than thou knowest, lend less than thou owest, ride more than thou goest, leave thy drink evermore, and keep in a door, and thou shalt have more than 2 tens to a score.
This is nothing, fool.
Then 'tis like the breath of an unfeed lawyer. You gave me nothing for it. Canst thou make no use of nothing, nuncle?
No, boy. Nothing can be made out of nothing.
Prithee tell him so much the rent of his land comes to. He will not believe a fool.
A bitter fool?
Dost thou know the difference, my boy, between a bitter fool and a sweet one?
No, lad, teach me.
That lord that counseled thee to give away thy land, come place him here by me, do thou for him stand. The sweet and bitter fool will presently appear, the one in motley here, the other found out there.
Dost thou call me fool, boy?
All thy other titles thou hast given away, that was born with.
This is not altogether fool, my lord.
No, faith. Nuncle, give me an egg and I'll give thee 2 crowns.
What 2 crowns shall they be?
Why, after I have cut the egg in the middle and eat up the meats, the 2 crowns of the egg. When thou clovest thy crown in the middle and gavest away both parts, thou borest thine ass on thy back o'er the dirt. Thou hadst little wit in thy bald crown when thou gavest thy golden one away. Fools had ne'er less grace in a year, for wise men are grown foppish.
When were you wont to be so full of song, Sirrah?
I have used it, nuncle, ere since thou madest thy daughters thy mothers. For when thou gavest them the rod and putst down thine own breeches, then they for sudden joy did weep, and I for sorrow sung, that such a king should play bo peep and go the fools among. Prithee, nuncle, keep a schoolmaster that can teach thy fool to lie. I would fain learn to lie.
And ye lie, Sirrah, will have you whipped.
I marvel what kin thou and thy daughters are. They'll have me whipped for speaking true. Thou'lt have me whipped for lying, and sometimes I am whipped for holding my peace. I'd rather be any kind of thing than a fool. And yet I would not be thee, nuncle. Thou hast pared thy wits of both sides and left nothing in the middle. Oh, here comes one of the pairings.
How now, daughter? What makes that front lid on? You were too much allayed in the frown.
Thou wast a pretty fellow when thou hadst no need to care for her frowning. Now thou art an O without a figure. I am better than thou art now. I am a fool. Thou art nothing. Yes, forsooth, I will hold my tongue, so your face bids me, though you say nothing.
Not only, sir, this your all-licensed fool, but others of your insolent retinue do hourly carp and quarrel, breaking forth in rank, and not to be endured riots. Sir, I had thought by making this well known unto you to have found a safe redress, but now grow fearful by what yourself too late have spoke and done, that you protect this course and put it on by your allowance, which if you should, the fault would not scape censure nor the redresses sleep.
For you know, nuncle, the hedge sparrow fed the cuckoo so long, it had its head bit off by its young. Then out went the candle, and we were left darkling.
Are you our daughter?
Come, sir. I would you would make use of your good wisdom, whereof I know you are fraught, and put away these dispositions which of late transport you from what you rightly are.
May not the ass know when the cart draws the horse? Oh, Jug, I love thee.
Does anyone here know me? This is not Lear. Does Lear walk thus, speak thus? Where are his eyes? Surely his notion weakens, or his discernings are lethargied, waking, sleeping. Who is it that can tell me who I am?
Lear's shadow?
Your name, fair gentlewoman?
This admiration, sir, is much of the savor of other your new pranks. I do beseech you to understand my purposes aright, as you are old and reverend, should be wise. Here do you keep 100 knights and squires, men so disordered, so debauched and bold, that this our court, infected with their manners, shows like a riotous inn. Epicurism and lust makes it more like a tavern or a brothel than a graced palace. The shame itself doth speak for instant remedy. Be then desired by her, that else will take the thing she begs, a little to disquantity your train, and the remainders that shall still depend to be such men as may besort your age, which know themselves and you.
Darkness and devils! Saddle my horses! Call my train together! I have left a daughter. I'll not trouble thee.
You strike my people, and your disordered rabble make servants of their betters.
Woe that repents too late. Oh, sir, are you come? Is it your will? Speak, sir. Prepare my horses. In gratitude, the marble-hearted fiend, more hideous when thou show'st thee in a child than the sea monster.
Pray, sir, be patient.
Detested kite, thou liest. My train are men of choice and rarest parts, that all particulars of duty know, and in the most exact regard support the worships of their name. O most small fault, how ugly didst thou in Cordelia's show, which like an engine wrenched my frame of nature from the fixed place, drew from my heart all love, and added to the gall. Go, my people!
My lord, I am guiltless, as I am ignorant of what hath moved you.
It may be so. Hear nature, hear. Dear goddess, hear. Suspend thy purpose, if thou didst intend to make this creature fruitful. Into her womb convey sterility. Dry up in her the organs of increase. From her derogate body never spring a babe to honor her. If she must teem, create her child of spleen, that it may live and be a thwart disnatured torment to her. Let it stamp wrinkles in her brow of youth, with tainted tears fret channels in her cheeks, turn all her mother's pains and benefits to laughter and contempt, that she may feel how sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child! Away! Away!
Now, gods that we adore, whereof comes this?
Never afflict yourself to no one.
What? 50 of my followers at a clap within a fortnight?
What's the matter, sir?
I'll tell you, sir. Oh, heaven and earth, I'm ashamed that thou hast power to shake my manhood thus. That these hot tears that break from me perforce should make thee worse than blasted fogs upon thee. The untented woundings of a father's curse pierce every sense about thee. Old fond eyes, beweep this cause again. I'll pluck you out and cast you with the waters that you loose to temper clay. Yea, is it come to this? Ah! Let it be so. Oh. I have another daughter who I am sure is kind and comfortable. When she shall hear this of thee, with her nails she'll flay thy wolfish visage. Thou shalt find that I'll resume the shape which thou dost think I have cast off forever.
Do you mark that?
I cannot be so partial, Goneril, to the great love I bear you.
Pray you, content. What, Oswald, ho! You, sir, more knave than fool, after your master.
Nuncle Lear, tarry, take the fool with thee.
This man hath had good counsel. 100 knights. 'Tis politic and safe to let him keep at point 100 knights. Yes, that on every dream, each buzz, each fancy, each complaint, dislike, he may enguard his dotage with their powers and hold our lives in mercy. Oswald, I say!
Well, you may fear too far.
Safer than trust too far. Let me still take away the harms I fear, not fear still to be taken. I know his heart. What he hath uttered, I have writ my sister. If she sustain him and his 100 knights, when I have showed the unfitness... How now, Oswald, what? Have you writ that letter to my sister?
Aye, madam.
Take you some company, and away to horse. Inform her full of my particular fear, and thereto add such reasons of your own as may compact it more. Get you gone, and hasten your return. No, no, my lord!
How far your eyes may pierce, I cannot tell. With striving to better, oft we mar what's well.
Nay, then.
Well, well, the event.
Go you before with this letter. Acquaint my daughter with no further than anything you know than comes from her demand out of the letter. Well, if your diligence be not speedy, I shall be there before you.
I shall not sleep, my lord, till I deliver your letter.
If a man's brains were in his heels,
Aye, my lad.
then I prithee be merry. Thy wit shall not go slipshod.
Ha, ha, ha.
Shalt see thy other daughter will use thee kindly. Thou canst tell why one's nose stands in the middle of one's face?
No.
Why, to keep one's eyes of either side's nose, that what a man may not smell out, he may spy into.
I did her wrong.
Canst tell how an oyster makes his shell?
No.
Oh, nor I neither. But I can tell why a snail has a house.
Why?
Why, to keep's head in, and not give it away to one's daughters, and leave his horns without a case.
I shall forget my nature. So kind a father. Be the horses ready?
Oh, thy asses are gone about 'em. The reason why the 7 stars are no more than 7 is a pretty reason.
Because they're not 8.
Yes, indeed. Oh, thou wouldst make a good fool.
To take it again perforce. Monster ingratitude.
If thou wert my fool, I'd have thee beaten for being old before thy time.
What's that?
Thou shouldst not have been old until thou hadst been wise.
Let me not be mad. Not mad. Sweet heavens, keep me in temper. I would not be mad. How now? Are the horses ready?
Ready, my lord.
Come, boy. Ooh.